everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 12th of July 2023. And today we have included many topics from the newspaper that includes topics for the mains exam and also for the prelims exam. And apart from this, today we have done an addition which is known as PT pointers. So we are going to discuss topics that are relevant for the prelims exam, and also it will be associated with some questions for the prelims exam. So let us quickly see the topics that we are going to discuss now. Okay, so these are the topics that we are going to discuss in in the discussion today. So the first topic, it says demographic transition and change in women's lives. Okay, so through this article we will understand about demographic transition in India that happened from 1940 till 2023, and we are going to understand how the demographic transition has changed or transformed lives of women in India, right? So we are going to talk about multiple aspects related to it, and it is this topic is important under GS paper 1 for mains exam and GS paper 2 of the mains exam, GS paper 2 under social justice, okay? And also this is an important topic under economy. Apart from this, we will take another topic that says citizen action for clean politicians and cleaner politics. So through this article, we are going to understand about the actions that the citizens can take to have clean politicians for themselves and how they can go for cleaner politics. In this article, we will talk about criminalization of politics and reform measures that have been taken with reference to Representation of People's Act, and we are going to discuss about many associated things. So this topic is important for GS paper 2 of the mains exam. And also it is important for the prelims exam. These two topics were there in editorial section in today's newspaper. Apart from this, we are going to discuss about another topic that says greenwashing. Okay, so through this article we will understand about the Forest Conservation Act 1980. We will also discuss about the Forest Conservation Amendment Rules Amendment Bill 2023. So this topic is essentially important under environment and ecology section. It is also important for polity under bills and acts. Okay, this was also there in editorial section. Apart from this, we are going to discuss another topic that says the unseemingly politics of the Uniform Civil Code. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the importance of having Uniform Civil Code in India. We will understand about constitutional provisions related to Uniform Civil Code. We will discuss about historical underpinnings related to how the Uniform Civil Code has developed over the years, and why various governments were not able to come up with a unified Uniform Civil Code for India. So this topic is important under society and social justice, means this is important for GS paper 1 and also GS paper 2 of the mains exam. And then apart from this, we are going to discuss about another topic that says what we lost when we work with the giant artificial intelligences like ChatGPT. So in this article, we will understand about the losses that human beings are making while using ChatGPT or generative artificial intelligence. So this topic is going to be very important for us because this article looks into a different dimension altogether, the dimension of negative aspects associated with ChatGPT. Okay, so this topic is important under science and technology section. So this was there in page number 9 in the Hindu newspaper. Then the sixth topic will be on one more cheetah from Africa dies in Kuno Park. So in this article, we will understand about the location of the Kuno National Park. We will discuss about cheetah reintroduction program in India, and we are going to discuss about many things associated with this. So this topic is important under for the prelims exam, and it is let's say related to environment and ecology. The next topic, it says 415 million Indians came out of multidimensional poverty in 15 years. Says UNDP study. Okay, so in this article we will understand about a report that was released by United Nations Development Program, and we are going to discuss about multidimensional poverty index. We will discuss about the progress made by India along with other countries over the last 15 years related to multidimensional poverty index. So this topic is also important for the prelims exam under report and indices section. Then the next topic would be on no timetable set for Ukraine's membership, says NATO chief. Okay, so the North Atlantic Treaty Organization chief has recently said that, like, they have not set any time limitation for extending the membership of NATO to Ukraine, and we are going to discuss about many things associated with this, and we are also going to take MCQs, like questions for practice. Okay, so these are the topics that are important from today's newspaper, and we are going to be little quick and we will discuss all these topics in detail, right? So let's discuss about the first topic now. So this is the first topic that says demographic transition and change in women's life. Okay, so this topic is important under GS paper 1, that says role of women and women's organization, population and associated issues, poverty and developmental issues, urbanization, their problems and their remedies. Means, like, this topic is important for GS paper 1 of the mains exam. Apart from this, like, it is also important for the GS paper 2, like under this particular heading of the syllabus. So let us discuss about, like, what this article wants to say, demographic transition and change in women's life. Okay, so with this, let's look into the first topic. So name of the topic is demographic transition and change in women's life. Okay, so like this topic has been written with reference to the World Population Day. So World Population Day was celebrated on 11th of July 2023. It is celebrated every year on the same day. So on this day, like, if we talk about how the India's population has grown over the years from 1940 till 2023. In 1940, we had 340 million children in India. But in 2023, we have, right, we have 1.4 billion, like, like population in India. In 1940, 340 million population in India. Now we have 1.4 billion population. Means the population has drastically increased over the years in India. And India has surpassed China, and now we are the largest largest democracy of the world, and along with this we have the largest population in the world, right? So if we talk about, like, during this demographic transition journey, what has been the life expectancy, how it has changed over the years. If we talk about 1941 data, in 1941 the life expectancy for a person was around 56 years, right, at birth. Life expectancy at birth was 56 years. But now if we talk about 2023, it has increased to 69 years, the life expectancy. Apart from this, like, during this demographic transition from 1940 till 2023, the women's lives have also changed. It has also transformed and transitioned, right? And it has changed, like, for all phases of women's life, be it the childhood, adulthood and old age. Okay, all of them have transformed for women. Okay, so we are going to discuss little more about this, right, how it has transformed over the years. Now if we talk about, like, what changes has happened, like, changes for Indian women, right? So we are going to discuss about changes for Indian women during this time. So what has happened, like, earlier, if you talk about earlier, like from 1940s 50s onward, like, there were families who preferred to have more children. Why more children? Because, like, there was a concept like more hands, more breads. I mean, like, if we have more children, so they will be earning more breads. So that was the concept. And apart from this, there was a preference. Okay, there was a preference for son. Okay, so son preference was there, and because of which the families went for, like, making child over child. So let's say, like, on an average they used to have 4 child, and what was the, let's say, probability of having a male child? The probability was only 6%. But now, I mean, like, many families have started doing family planning, and, like, they generally go for 2 child, and the probability of having a male from 2 child is around 25%. Okay, this is as given in the data itself. And apart from this, if we talk about, like, if we talk about other things, there is a report that is known as Indian Human Development Initiative. So, like, So that report says, name of the report is Indian Human Development Survey. This Indian Human Development Survey, talks about like what is the notion among women's, in case how they need, support from the child, and like Indian women's, reliance for old age support. So if I talk about old age support, right? Old age support. So earlier Indian women, I mean, they were thinking that we need more support, but now with the changes in the societal structure, now lesser number of women are preferring, not preferring, I mean, the people who used to rely on child support has little bit reduced with, let's say, nowadays people have more assets with them, they are more educated, they were into jobs, right? So because of these factors, so this particular survey, Indian Human Development Survey, talks about that the women are reliant on child for old age support. Why they are reliant? Because generally women prefer to marry a man who is older than them. And so if we go by the life expectancy thing, the man, I mean, they die more as they die before the women dies. Okay, so it means in this article itself, the author has given data, exact data quoting about what percentage of male above the age of 65 years are widowed as compared to what percentage of female, right, or women above the age of 65 years die. Okay, so for that they have said that in among households also, we do households have some preference for, let's say, male child, and for that purpose many of the households used to go for sex selective abortions. Okay, sex selective abortions. Many of the households used to go for sex selective abortions. Why? Because they had preference for son. Okay, because of son preference. And there is also a notion that girls are pariah dhan, I mean, they belong to their in-laws house. And apart from this, because of these things, the sex ratio in India, okay, the sex ratio in India has gone little down. If we talk about out of 100 male, okay, 96 female were there in the year 1950. Okay, in 1950, out of 96 out of 100 males, 96 females were there, but now it has gone to reduced to 91 out of 100 males, right? Which year? Now, if you talk about 2019 data, okay, according to 2019 data, it has reduced, it has gone little down. So this is the present scenario with respect to this. And apart from this, in the same article, the author has talked about that fertility rate has declined. Fertility rate means earlier the families, households, they were having, let's say, more more kids, but now the fertility rate has declined and families prefer to have, let's say, less number of child. And with the decline of fertility rate, what has happened? Active mothering. Okay, so we will discuss about this topic also, which is fertility rate. Okay, fertility rate. So the fertility rate has declined. Okay, it has declined. So this is one of the thing. And because of this, the active mothering means when a woman gives birth to a child, right? So she has to nurture and care for that child. And so the average number of years that she used to spend for caring and nurturing the child was around 14 years, right? For around 14 years earlier, but now it has reduced to 8 years. It has reduced to 8 years. Why is it so? Because earlier, let's say like, we are talking about under 5, the children of the age of under 5 years, under 5 years. So earlier, let's say like in the families, they used to have four children. Okay, let's say on an average, they used to have 4 children. But now, earlier they were having 4 children, let's say. Okay, but now they have 2 children. Okay, they have 2 children. So active mothering, number of years that like women was spending for nurturing and caring her child has reduced. Earlier it was 14 years, now it is 8 years. And because of reduction in the active mothering, what has happened, the women now have more free time to pursue education, they have more free time to go for employment. Okay, so these are the things. And like for employment related activities also, in this article the author suggests, the author says that like she needs to get skilled. Okay, the women needs to get skilled, and for that they need work experience. But in her early ages, when she gets married, what happens, like she goes for like family planning, active mothering, and after then she gets very less time to focus on work experience. And by the time they complete their child nurturing thing, so they are out of the date when we talk about their labor force participation ratio. Okay, so they are no longer, let's say no longer as per the demand of the labor market. Okay, so this is what is said. So according to this, 30 years ago, the author has said that 30 years ago, the National Family Health Survey, okay, NFHS data, National Family Health Survey data has suggested that the child care for under 5, I mean the thing that I have discussed, child care for under 5 was around 14 years, but it has reduced to 8 years now. Okay, it has reduced to 8 years. This data is as per National Family Health Survey, okay, that was released. And apart from this, if we compare the average age of mother, right, average age of women at first birth, okay, at first birth. So it was earlier 20 years, but now this thing has reduced, slightly increased to 22 years. This has slightly increased to 22 years. So this is the data that was said. And apart from this, the author also says that because of this particular factor, that average age of women before their first birth of baby, so that time, because of early childhood, because of early motherhood, what happens, because of early motherhood, lower fertility rate. Okay, so she goes for early motherhood, and for that and also families are preferring to have lesser child. Okay, still the lower fertility rate has not transformed. It has not transformed into, let's say, higher labor force participation. It has not transferred into higher labor force participation rate. It has not transferred into this thing. And the author says there has been a demographic shift also. There has been a demographic shift in the country. Now, if we talk about demographic shift among women, okay, so if we talk about among women, how their women's demographic shift, okay, so I'll write down women's demographic shift. So now if we talk about the proportion of women above the age of 65 years, who are above the age of 65 years, and during this time from 1940 till now, what has happened, earlier they were around 5%, now it has gone up to 11%. What? women's demographic shift means like, in 1940s or like, earlier, the above 65 years of women were around 5%, but now it has gone up to 11%, and they also need old age care. Okay, so now how do we harness the gender dividend? Okay, so for harnessing gender dividend, the author has suggested many points. Okay, so this can you can consider this to be a point for way forward. Okay, way forward, or like, the conclusion part of this particular editorial. So here the author says, like, for harnessing the dividend, for harnessing the population dividend, what we need to do, we need to change the patriarchal norms. Okay, we need to change the patriarchal norms. But it's going to take a long time because the entire society has to go through a transitionary phase. Apart from this, the author has also talked about that there should be increase. Okay, there should be increased participation. Okay, increased participation of women. Okay, increased participation of women in education, employment, and skilling. So these are the things that are needed. Apart from this, the author has also suggested, like, if we provide creche facility, okay, creche facility means the facility for, let's say, like, caring the child in workplaces. Okay, so creche facility, if it is provided, it also leads to increased, okay, it leads to increased participation of women. Okay, increased participation of women in labor force. Okay, in labor force, like, their participation in employment activity goes up. And for that, the author has also given that, like, like Anganwadi means, like, Anganwadi facilities have also led to, okay, Anganwadi facilities have also led to, let's say, increased labor force participation among women. This is a point, I mean, like, associated with the second point. And the author has also suggested that, like, we have National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, Mahatma Gandhi, MG Narega, or Narega, National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Under this, like, government of India is creating physical infrastructure. What government is doing? Government is creating physical infrastructure. But the author is suggesting that we can also create social infrastructure. Okay, social infrastructure like creche facility, so that, like, it will lead to greater empowerment of women, and, like, women will be participating more in employment related activities. So this is all in this article. So in this article, we have understood about the role of women in Indian society, and also, like, how their lives have changed or transformed from childhood to adulthood to old age during the demographic transition history of India. Right? So this is all in this article, and this article was a very good article written by the author. So it's related to women empowerment, and it's a good article. So with this, like, we will move to the next topic now. So this topic says citizen action for clean politicians and cleaner politics. Citizen action for clean politicians and cleaner politics. Again, this topic is a very important article, so we will discuss about this topic. This is topic number 2 for the day. Citizen action for clean politician, comma, cleaner politics. So in this article, the author has mentioned about the importance of having cleaner politics in India so that like the country can prosper and grow at a faster rate. And at the same time, if we do not have a clear cleaner politics in India, so it is like hampering the growth trajectory of India. So for that purpose, the author has talked about that like if we look into the history of all those people who have been elected as members of state legislative assembly or members of parliament, okay. So if we look into the history, right, if we look into the criminal history, okay, criminal records, okay, records of MLAs, okay, of MLAs and MPs. So we will find that like around 48% or 46% of Indian politicians have like criminal records, okay. So it is around, so I'll talk about this thing, around 46 or 48% of Indian they have criminal records, right. And this, so there the Supreme Court of India has done a good thing. The Supreme Court of India has mandated, okay, mandated all those aspiring politicians that like they should produce something known as self-sworn affidavits, okay. They should produce self-sworn affidavits. Means in the affidavit they should declare clearly what is their criminal record, like what is the amount of, let's say, wealth that they have, assets or wealth that they have, okay. So this self-sworn affidavit, it is, if it is seen, so it showcases that all the political parties across different spectrum, be it the Bharatiya Janata Party, the Congress National Party, the Congress Party, or any other party, like many of their politicians, many of their members does have a criminal record. They have a criminal history, and not only criminal record, like in many of these cases, these criminal records are serious crimes, okay. So many of these cases are serious criminal cases, okay. They are serious criminal cases in the nature that like if convicted by a court of law in these cases, these people will have a jail term of greater than or equal to 5 years, okay. They'll have a jail term of greater than or equal to 5 years. So now so Supreme Court mandate, this particular Supreme Court mandate was a good step that was taken by the Supreme Court for cleaning the politics. At least like people now get to know like how many percentage of their MPs or MLAs have this criminal records. But apart from this, the author also highlights the fact that like let's consider there is one person A, he got, let's say like he got elected through the vote of party A, PA, right. So there, if there is a rival party PB, so the rival party, what they do, they file frivolous cases, false cases against the politicians of other parties, and there are incidences of huge number of false cases also. But not all these false cases are so false, because the author says that like before filing a case, the police people, they do investigation, they record in writing about about the cases registered against the person. So this is done after due diligence. So still this particular argument that false cases are registered does not hold true. And so this is what is said by the author in this case. And author also talks about that net worth and election spend. So if we talk about these politicians, right, if we talk about the net worth and election spends, means like how much money do they spend in election, right? And what is the net worth of the politicians? So generally it is noted that on an average the MLAs have a net worth of about 13.63 crore. This is the average net worth of MLAs, normal MLAs. But if we talk about MLAs with criminal records, okay, MLAs with criminal records, they have a net worth of around 16.36 crore. 16.36 crore. So MLAs who are having a criminal record, they have more net worth, and this net worth actually it has been shown, it has been seen over the years that those people who have more net worth, so they are more likely to get elected in through the election process. Why? Because these MLAs, they also give freebies in the sense like freebies is after they get elected, but before they get elected they distribute, let's say, alcohol, they distribute cash, they distribute food, they distribute clothings among people, okay, so that they can get vote, okay. So they spend more, and there is a likelihood that they get elected. So the author has mentioned that the winning probability of winning for a candidate, okay, probability of winning for a candidate is proportional to the net worth of the candidate, okay, to the net worth of the candidate, because of these factors that I have listed over here, okay. Because of these factors, probability of winning is high. So the author mentions that 30% of these people, okay, 30% of the people, there is 30% probability of winning if a person has net worth of 5 crore and above, and there is a probability of 8% if a person has net worth of 2 crore or below, okay, net worth of 2 crore and below. So this showcases that people who have more net worth, they are more likely to get elected. So this has been the case. And also here the author also mentions that the Election Commission of India has set some limitation on election expenditure by the candidates, like for MLAs, for member of legislative assemblies, the let's say limit, okay, election expenditure limit, okay, this is election expenditure limit as set by the Election Commission of India. So this election expenditure limit is 40 lakh rupees in case of MLAs, and is in case of MPs it is 70 lakh rupees, but it has been increased to 90 lakh rupees in 2022 by the government, okay. But still, even after placing such limits on election expenditures by the candidate, still many of the political parties, many of the candidates, they're spending much more than the limit that was set. I mean, like, they are not following the rules, that was set by the Election Commission of India. And apart from this, the author has also mentioned that expenditure in Lok Sabha election, this is a very important point, I will write it down. So it has been seen that, like, in India, in Lok Sabha elections, what happens, the Lok Sabha election expenditure in India, Lok Sabha election expenditure in India is much more than, okay, is much more than the presidential election in USA, okay. It is much more than presidential election in the United States of America. So it is a worth noting point, okay. So whenever we have Lok Sabha election, we spend much more than what United States of America spends during presidential election. So, and here, the author suggests that we should go for electoral reforms, and electoral reforms will only happen if voters are supporting it, okay, if voters are supporting it. And at the same time, here the author says that why do we have so many people with criminal records into political parties? In India, what happens, the political party leaders, let's say there is political party A, okay. So what generally political party leaders, they choose the candidates, okay, so they give tickets to the candidates, okay, they give tickets to candidates, and it is the preference of these political party leaders, right, it is their preference, and through which like they give ticket to those candidates who are more net worthy, I mean like who has more worth, or let's say who have criminal history, I mean like these party leaders are themselves giving tickets to the people who have criminal records. There may be multiple considerations, but like the author suggests that we should do something in this regard so that like it can be stopped. And apart from this, the author says like if we talk about the United States of America, the United States of America does have a different system, and that system is known as first round primary, okay, that system is known as first round primary, I mean like so those people do not directly get the ticket, okay, so they go for a first round primary election before they get nominated. And apart from this, like there are many other countries, like if we talk about European countries, okay, there are many European countries, and these European countries have very like they have more robust and open election process, okay, open election process and more robust, I mean like they are more transparent and much better election process, more open and democratic processes. So here the author says that the catalyst, I mean like how do we reform the election, the reformation in election will come through the voters. If they do not vote those parties who have more criminal, who have like politicians with more criminal records and all. So this is the thing. So this article is a very good article. So with this, like we will move to the next topic now. Another topic quickly. It says greenwashing, okay, the name of the topic is greenwashing, and this topic is important for the UPSC prelims exam and also for the mains exam. In this article we will understand about the Forest Conservation Amendment Bill 2023, we will understand the Forest Conservation Act 1980, okay, and we will understand the proposed changes into this particular act. So here in this article the author has suggested that like the Forest Conservation Amendment Bill, we will discuss about this thing in detail. Let's move to this article, greenwashing. Name of the topic is greenwashing. So in this article we will understand 2-3 important things. What are those things? Number one, we will understand the Forest Conservation Amendment Bill. Forest Conservation Amendment Bill 2023, okay. So recently this Forest Conservation Amendment Bill has been moved, like in the Parliament of India, and so it has gone through parliamentary review committee, joint committee of parliament. It has gone through a joint committee of parliament, and the joint committee of parliament has allowed this particular bill to be introduced in the houses without any changes in the proposed amendments. But still here the author says that like this bill goes through multiple issues. What are the issues associated with these bills? One of the issue that is associated with this bill is balancing industrial, developmental and conservation of forest needs, okay. So here we need to balancing the need of industrial development, okay, industrial development and forest conservation needs, okay. So this is one of the issue that this bill goes through, okay. So author has suggested that like there was if we talk about the Forest Conservation Act, right, if we talk about Yeah. So there was an act which is in place, which is the Forest Conservation Act. Conservation Act 1980. Okay, so the author suggests that the Forest Conservation Act was itself good. There is no need of any amendment at this point of time, because the Forest Conservation Act actually mentions rights and obligations of forest dwellers and many other things, it mentions. But the author says that the proposed amendments that has been proposed, right, so these amendments are not at par with, it tries to do away with one of the Supreme Court judgment. The Supreme Court of India has given a judgment, and name of the case, like I will mention. So there was a Supreme Court judgment related to this in 1996. Okay, related to this in 1996, and name of the case is T.N. Govardhan. Okay, name of the case is, I'll write down this, T.N. Govardhan, right? T.N. Govardhan, Thirumalpad. Thirumalpad case, 1996. So in this case, the Supreme Court of India has, released guidelines. It has released guidelines, and this particular Forest Conservation Amendment Bill is trying to bypass this particular case. This is what is the author is saying. And apart from this, the author says that, the Forest Survey of India, we have Forest Survey of India. The Forest Survey of India, which is based in Dehradun. Okay, it is based in Dehradun. Now, so it comes up with the State of Forest report. Okay, it comes up with State of Forest report every 2 years. Okay, this State of Forest report is released by the Forest Survey of India every 2 years. So this particular report is known as biennial. Okay, it is biennial report. So this report is released by the Forest Survey of India every 2 years, and according to this particular report, India currently has 24%, right, of its land under forest and tree cover. Okay, we have under forest and tree cover. The Forest Survey of India has around 24%, India has 24%, okay? India has 24% of its area under forest and tree cover. But at the same time, here the author is saying that, India has committed, right, in multinational forums, India has committed in multinational forum. So I'm going to write down about India's commitment. India's commitment in multinational forums. First of all, India has committed that it will increase this particular percentage to 33%. Okay, it will increase it to 33% forest cover. Okay, 33% forest cover. As of now, how much percent do we have? 24%. And India has committed that we will increase by 33% by the year of 2030. Apart from this, India has also taken a target, okay, of having a carbon sink. Already we have a carbon sink of 2.5 billion tons. Okay, billion tons. We want to make it 3 billion ton. Okay, 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide emission. All right. So this is again another target that has been taken by India. So now the author is saying that, the new amendments that we have, that India has taken for itself, this new amendment is not going to help India in achieving these targets. Okay, and the author has said about some of the criticism associated with, criticism associated with these amendments, okay, related to new amendment. One of the criticism is, it says that, earlier this. So it says like, only those area will be covered, considered as forest area that has been notified by the governments, right, as forest, okay, that have been notified by the government as forest, that are notified forest, and which have been notified from 1980s to 1996. Why? Because in 1996 the Supreme Court of India has given a judgment. So they said like all forests that have been notified by some government acts, right, as forest, they will be only considered as forest. And apart from this, it also says that the forest land, okay, forest land, I mean like, the forest land, forest land can be converted by the state for non-forest purposes, okay, for non-forest purposes, okay, can be converted like, or has been converted, those forest land that has been converted for non-forest purposes from 1980 to 1996, they will not have any effect, okay, they will not have any effect. Apart from this, it also says that like up to 100 kilometer, okay, what distance, up to 100 kilometer from bordering areas, okay, from bordering areas, the government of India, from borders, I'm writing from borders, the government of India can do any kind of strategic and like, security purposes, development, they can do any kind of development for strategic and security purposes, okay, for which purposes, for strategic and security purposes. So the author says that like, these things does not go well, okay, and if we follow the new amendment, we are not going, we will not be able to achieve our target of net zero carbon emission by the year of 2070. That has already been told in yesterday's article, okay. So that's all in this article, greenwashing. So here we have understood about these things, I mean like, the Forest Conservation Act 1980, the Forest Conservation Amendment Bill 2023, and also we have seen a Supreme Court judgment which is TN, name of the judgment is TN Govardhan Thirumalpad, okay. So with this, like, we came to another topic. This is again a very important topic. It says the unseemingly politics of the Uniform Civil Code. Now, as we all know that Uniform Civil Code, I mean like, Uniform Civil Code tries to achieve uniformity in personal space, right, in personal space. And if we talk about India, like, for people from different faiths, different religions, they do have their own personal laws that regulate their personal affairs related to, for example, marriage, right, divorce, succession, inheritance, adoption, alimony, and maintenance, okay. So we will discuss about this thing, the Uniform Civil Code. The Uniform Civil Code is a part of directive principles of state policy, right. It is mentioned under Article 44 of the Constitution of India, okay. So the unseemingly politics of the Uniform Civil Code. So we will discuss about this topic in detail quickly. Okay, let me see the name of the article properly. The unseemly. Politics of Uniform Civil Code. So we will discuss about this thing. So Uniform Civil Code means having some uniformity in personal affairs, okay. So Uniform Civil Code wants to achieve what things, like, uniformity related to marriage, adoption, divorce, alimony, maintenance, and inheritance. So these are the things that Uniform Civil Code wants to achieve. These are the things. And Uniform Civil Code is mentioned under Article 44 of the Constitution of India. So in this article, they have talked about the history of Uniform Civil Code, that Uniform Civil Code has been introduced by the then Law Minister Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he has support of the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru. But that time also it could not be made a reality because many people opposed to this. Okay, so it was initiated by the Congress party itself. But now if you talk about the present situation, presently the Congress party and many other parties are opposing this, and the Bharatiya Janata Party, it is supporting this particular thing. So the author is saying that now, many of these political parties, they have this particular thing. These political parties are not following their own stand, and at the same time many personal these personal law related people, they have All India Muslim Personal Law Board. This is one of the law board that has opposed, that has criticized the Uniform Civil Code move of the central government. Apart from this, there is another thing which is Jamaat-e-Islami. They have also criticized the Uniform Civil Code in India. So here the author is saying that to bring Uniform Civil Code, first the this thing should be supported by those people who are going to be affected by it. And at the same time it says there was a Sabrimala judgment. That Sabrimala judgment was taken by the Supreme Court of India, and it was totally criticized by the Bharatiya Janata Party. So now they are talking about, let's say how different political parties are taking this. And also historically if we talk about so there has been cases of sati and child marriages, and these were prevalent in India. Okay, so what were prevalent earlier? Sati and child marriages were prevalent, but sati could be abolished. Okay, sati could be abolished because of the movement by one of the reformers, social reformer. His name is Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. So because of the movement of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, the sati could be abolished. But still, if we talk about child marriage, okay, child marriage and dowry, these are still prevalent in India. The author says that these things are still prevalent in India. So we need to bring equality, right? And the author suggests that there are many countries across the world, and what they have done, they have made laws, rules that allow for people to practice their personal, right? That allow people to practice their personal religious affair, right? In personal spaces, but in public places, the people are not allowed to showcase their religious faith and belief, and they have been able to, let's say, implement laws which are similar to Uniform Civil Code. And if India also wants to do it, they have to also bring those positive provisions from many countries who have already implemented this particular provision. So this is all related to Uniform Civil Code. So with this, we will move to another topic quickly. Okay, with this we will move to another topic. It says, what we lose when we work with giant artificial intelligence like ChatGPT. So this article is a big article, but I'll be a little quick in sharing the details related to this article. So we know that ChatGPT uses generative artificial intelligence, generative AI. So generative AI is able to produce information, right? It is able to produce information that are intelligible, which are intelligent in nature. But at the same time, here this article takes a look into the other aspect of generative AI, means what we are going to lose if we start using generative AI. So he says that generative AI has a notion of homogenizing the things. It takes all the data from the internet and produces result. But the data that is available in the internet is already elite in the sense most of the data is available in English language. So if we start using ChatGPT and all, so we may miss out on, let's say, regional diversities. okay, regional diversities, and it is not able to give results that are based on local information, okay, local information, geographical information. It is not able to give those data. Apart from this, like, languages may be missed, I mean, like, languages may be lost in a long run. So the author says, like, there are many negative aspects that can be there, and diversity, I mean, like, author has also compared it with one of the book that was launched by, let's say, book, name of the book is Seeing Like a State. So what does a state do? It does top down thing, like it implements the rule by thinking about the things, but it does not look into the, like, the exact reality at the ground level. So ChatGPT is also similar to that one, okay. It is similar in the sense, like, if we talk about the Google map, so Google Map showcases the entire earth in a simple model. So, like, we get to know the earth at a simple model, but like through that map we cannot see the exact reality in places. I mean, that diversity is not visible, although like it gives a sample, but the diversity is not visible. So the author compares the ChatGPT with Google Map, okay. It compares that, like, it misses the diversity aspect, and also it is not democratic in nature, because ChatGPT generates the information from its own end. It does not take any input from the users directly, okay. So it is not democratic. So many things were said by the author in this article, okay. So you can read this article in free time, and with this, like, we will be quickly taking some PT pointers. I mean, these topics are important for the prelims exam, and also we'll be taking some questions. So this topic says, one more cheetah from Africa dies in Kuno Park, okay. So we do have a Kuno National Park. This Kuno National Park is located in the state of Madhya Pradesh, okay. Kuno National Park is located in the state of Madhya Pradesh, where the government of India has gone for cheetah reintroduction program. The cheetah reintroduction program was led by the Prime Minister of India, okay. So recently one of the cheetah died in Kuno National Park. So this topic was related to that, and so with this, like, we will take a question related to this topic. This is one of the question. It says, consider African cheetahs are listed as vulnerable by the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List of Threatened Species. This is one statement. Second statement says, 8 African cheetahs from Namibia are translocated to Jharkhand's Kuno National Park. Third, Prime Minister launched the first global intercontinental carnivore translocation of African cheetah from Namibia to Kuno National Park. Okay, first and third statement are right. Second statement is incorrect because it says Jharkhand's Kuno National Park. Kuno National Park is located in the state of Madhya Pradesh. So correct answer for this question will be only 2 statements are right. Okay, only 2 statements are right. So with this, like, we will quickly move to the next topic. And so, like, we have also included the solution here in the PPT itself. So this is the solution. Second statement is incorrect, and first and third are correct. Next topic is topic number 7. So in this topic, in this article, we will understand about this thing, like 415 million Indians came out of multidimensional poverty in 15 years, says UNDP study. So recently, the United Nations Development Program has released the Global Multidimensional Poverty Index. And according to Global Multidimensional Poverty Index, 415 million Indians came out of multidimensional poverty in 15 years. So, like, this topic is related to this. And if we talk about multidimensional poverty index, it is released by 2 organizations. One of the organization is United Nations Development Program, and the other is Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative. Okay, so it is released by United Nations Development Program plus OPHI, Oxford Poverty Human Development Initiative. They released this Global Multidimensional Poverty Index. Okay, Multidimensional Poverty Index. So this is the thing. So you need to read this article to understand this in detail. So multidimensional poverty index has various things. I mean, like, it talks about education attainment, availability of, let's say, cooking, fuel for cooking, and also it talks about, availability of electricity. So there are multiple indicators that are related to multidimensional poverty index. So we will quickly see a question related to this topic. You can read it in free time. Consider the following statements regarding the global multidimensional poverty index. Okay, it says the multidimensional poverty index was released by United Nations Development Program and Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative. Okay, so this statement is right. It is given in the article itself. Second, the multidimensional poverty index monitors deprivation in 10 indicators spanning health, education, and standard of living, and includes both incidences as well as intensity of poverty. This is also right. Third, it says a total of 415 million people moved out of poverty in India within just 15 years. I mean, like, this data is also right. So all the three statements are right. It means option C will be the right answer in this case. Okay, option C will be the right answer in this case. This is question number 2nd, and now we have the last question that we are going to take, last topic and last question. So solution is given over here. People, like, in their free time, they can see the discussion and they can download the PDF from the description section of the YouTube video. Third topic, it is a PT pointer from international groupings. It says no timetable set for Ukraine's membership, says NATO chief. NATO means North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It is a military organization that has 31 member countries. And the most recent member country that has joined the North Atlantic Treaty Organization is Finland. Okay, Finland has joined as the 31st member of it. So recently there was a summit of the NATO, right? And in the summit, the Ukraine's president has, showcased, he has told about his displeasure of not being included in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. But the NATO chief, North Atlantic Treaty Organization chief, has said that, like, there are two-stage process of, adding a member. So they have just removed one of the stages for Ukraine. Only one stage is there, so Ukraine can join, but at the same time they have not set any time limit for it. So this article is related to that one, and we have taken a question related to this North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Quickly we will take that question. So it says, which of the following statement is incorrect about North Atlantic Treaty Organization? We need to identify that statement which is incorrect. First statement, North Atlantic Treaty Organization was formed in 1949 to promote mutual defense and collective security among its members. This is right. Second, NATO's special provision that states that an attack on one member is an attack on all members has only been invoked once after 9/11 terrorist attack. So this is under Article 5 of NATO that talks about collective security. If there is an attack on any of the member of NATO or a threat to attack on any of the member, it will be considered as an attack or threat to attack to all the members of NATO, and they will together retaliate against the common enemy. Then third, Finland has joined NATO and became the 31st member. This is also right. So naturally the fourth statement would be incorrect. Okay, option D would be incorrect, and correct answer would be option D for us. Okay, so its solution has been given over here. You can read in your free time. So that's all from my side for the day. Thank you so much for watching the lecture. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.